Okay, nobody's tripped over any wires. Did I do something wrong here? Hang on, let me just move this. They're telling me it's down. They're telling me it's back. Are we down back? Everything shows perfect at this end. Drop frame 0 live for 7 minutes.
It's green now. Back. Everyone's back.
I think I need a couple of good nights.
No idea. Well, for all we can tell at this end, everything looks perfect. All the dashboard shows green. Jed, just want to get a drink. Be back in a minute. Hey, thanks so much, John. Thank you. These plates, these are what we use to emboss the lettering on these prints. We've got a polymer plate. It goes on a backboard so that the print can click into it. So it provides, it does the positioning of the polymer plate for printing. And it's got a clear plastic cover so that we can roll ink on part of it. And what I need is the position. You're back. They said we went down. You put your face in here and the stream went dead, it says. They say, but my dashboard showing perfectly green. So
maybe the sudden change in color or something in, like change in data.
From the screen here? I don't know. No idea.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
It just went down to dead for me, Jed Aura. Anyway, it seemed like we're good, and we're certainly good at this.
That's cool. I have a wicked aura.
Are you getting a cold or something? Your voice has changed a little bit.
I just ran over. I just woke up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same as me. Your voice is deeper. It sounds like a bit of a cold or something.
Oh, I'm finally hitting puberty. Finally.
How many kids do you have?
4 kids. 4 kids. It's a miracle. Hi guys. Good morning.
This is where I get the wrong caption for the print on 200 copies, and we have to start all over again this month.
Wait, you do what?
This is where I cut the wrong caption. Ishkao-san, who doesn't understand English that well, prints them all wrong.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Do not do that thing. Somebody said the next 4 Jesuses have been born.
Things we can say on the internet.
Right.
So how was Kyoto, Jetson? Totally crowded out because it's really heavy tourist season, so.
It was heavy tourist season. It was very crowded, but I managed to get up right at dawn at 6 in the morning every day, and I was staying in this kind of ryokan sort of a thing, and they had bikes for use for free.
For the guests.
Yep. So I was able just to hop a bike and go visit temples and gardens and graveyards and mountains, and yeah, I had a great time. And around 8 o'clock is when the crowds would hit. I forget the name of the place, but there's a garden on the west edge of Kyoto up in the mountains that, I swear, for a mile leading up to it, maybe a half mile, there were just crowds of people, just tons of foreigners from every country ever.
This is the bamboo, the famous bamboo grove?
Yeah, that bamboo grove. It was so crowded. And then the minute we got to this garden, the name of which I forget, I apologize, it was 1,000 yen to get in, $10-ish.
Oh, that'll thin out the crowd.
It thinned out the crowd like that.
Yeah,
and so we went in.
What's the name of the place? No, just ask them. Describe it and ask them.
Oh yeah, so it's after the bamboo grove, and it was owned by some famous movie star in the 20s and 30s. The name of the place I forget.
Movie star. Japanese movie star.
Japanese movie star, yeah. Let me find it real quick. I mean, we're all here anyway, right?
What do you mean? You said before 8 o'clock. The things are getting crowded by 8.
Yeah,
Really? Already?
Well, at the Ginkakuji,
Really?
it was insane at 8 o'clock. Boom! All these all the foreigners and all the the kids, the field trips.
Yeah. At 8 o'clock already. Because what we've been telling here, people last week at the print party, they're saying we're going to Kyoto next week, and I'm telling them, look, it's going to be a bear garden, but there's a real trick to it. If you want to see one of the famous temples, just go earlier in the morning, because by the afternoon it's crowded out.
Yeah.
So this is not good advice for anybody.
No, it is. I'd say at 9 it gets crowded out. So be there at 7:30.
To line up.
Or 8.
Or whatever.
Be there at 8 for sure, yeah. Well, especially I think as the autumn leaves, somebody says, Did Kyoto have nice ginkgo and
No,
maple
not yet.
colors?
Show. No.
It was actually getting there. It was
Something's
getting there.
there?
Yeah, I got up in the mountains, and that's where it was.
Okay, but not in town
It
itself.
was starting to turn. In town, here and there, I'd say that give it 2 more weeks, and I think it'll be nice, really nice there. Yeah. And then we went like an hour and a half west of Kyoto up into the mountains to this little town called Goma, which was right by Takayama, and it was like tiny.
Wait, this is by bicycle.
No. We took a train.
Oh,
Took a train. Went to this little town called Goma. I asked the people like what the population was, and it seemed like the entire district, like the entire Cho, which I rode across on a bicycle, and it seems like this district extends for 10, 20 miles in one direction and probably in the other direction. So it's a huge district. Anyway, she said that the total population was 6,000 people. And that blew my mind. It was very, very, very rural, and every house had like gardens and fields, and there were big rice paddies everywhere, and it was pretty magical. So yeah, it was beautiful. And we rented bikes and rode up into the mountains there too, and did like a 40-mile round trip one day, which was kind of my life record so far for a bicycle ride. So my butt hurt. Steve says, when do I head back? Tomorrow. I go back tomorrow, which is good.
Well, your wife and kids are with you, right?
Yeah, I miss my kids and my wife, so I'm excited to go home. She was very patient to let me take this trip. Did you blow this up? Did you enlarge that?
Yeah, that's the original sketch.
Interesting.
So while I was carving, I wanted to be able to see the rough edges and stuff like that.
Interesting. Yeah. Corning Gummy says, did you buy a house, Jed?
You mean in America or here in Japan? What do you mean?
In Japan, you mean? Out in the country? So, like, that's always been, like, my stupid fantasy, is buying a house in the country in Japan. But I don't think it's a workable idea, because then somebody would have to keep it up, and then I would have to come use it all the time. But, like, I feel like, I swear you guys, everybody out there is over 60 years old in the countryside. Not everybody, but, like, a huge majority.
If you want a house in the country in Japan, you don't have to buy anything. They're there for the taking, because so many of these districts, the population is crashing and going down.
Right, that's what I saw. So
And many of these places, they're encouraging young people to come back, you know. A young couple with 4 kids, they are going to roll out red carpets like you've never seen before.
well, so the family did see one day, Jed. Maybe one day after my kids are all grown up. I don't want to force my kids to live in Japan. They're Americans, so we're just going to stay in America for now. But maybe when they're all grown up, maybe I'll do my own, maybe my wife will be down with it for a while. But until then, she's nice. She lets me take trips here to fill my creative
Needs.
bucket, yeah. Which is good. I mean, it just boomerangs back hopefully into income, right? Hopefully. Fingers crossed. But yeah, a vast majority of the people in these towns are very, very old. Very old.
Of course.
It's amazing.
It's a depopulating country, period.
Yeah. Am I talking too loud again? Am I talking too loud, guys?
I don't think so. We have a compressor thing worked in here now. I think it's all
Okay.
right.
And then another thing that was interesting. So the people that we stayed with, if you guys ever go to Kyoto, I recommend this place. There. So, oh yeah, sorry. So we stayed in this place called Guest House Goma, which is run by this young couple in their 30s, and they have a little kid. He's a web designer, and so he takes the train into Kyoto, which is like an hour or 2 away, like twice a month, he says. But the rest of the time, they're just out in this little house in the countryside, surrounded by rice fields.
Running it as a minchiko or something.
Yeah, they're running a minchku, which is like a bed and breakfast kind of a thing. and they rented us really nice bikes. They do bike tours. He's like an avid cyclist, so he offers bike tours. The town had like one of the best bakery I've ever been to in Japan for some strange reason. I was a little bit blown away by it. Like
This depopulated town. has
this
a good bakery.
depopulated town had an excellent pub and an excellent bakery for breakfast. Like amazing. It was a German French style bakery, and so he says,
They've got-
oh yeah, there it is. Yep,
This
yep.
is the way the stream works.
Yeah. And you won't find Guest House Goma. I think you won't find them on like Airbnb or you won't find them on like Airbnb or like those places because I think they just run it themselves. I think. I don't know. Maybe I did find them on Airbnb, but I don't think so because I didn't book it that way. So yeah, going to the website directly is good. But yeah, this town had an excellent bakery, like amazing, and the pub was surprisingly modern and nice. So I was really impressed. But then there was really nobody living there. It was funny. Oh, booking.com. Okay, cool. I saw wild boar tracks all over the place. I saw deer tracks.
Catching monkeys?
I heard monkeys. I heard monkeys shrieking in the mountains, but I didn't see them. I saw pheasants, which I just learned this like a couple of years ago that pheasants are not native to Europe and North America. They are introduced for sport hunting. And so yeah, there are pheasants that live, around my town, but in the United States, but they are not naturally. They didn't evolve there, or naturally occur there. But they are native to Japan. Anyway, I saw 2 pheasants. I heard I can come here and tease people with having done the microwave, says Zizar.
So he or you?
I haven't done the microwave. I wanted to try it, but
Today's your chance. Then where's that schedule? Hang on.
Is somebody coming to do it?
Oh, just a minute. I gotta shut that off. Hang on. Oh, no, the schedule today, as of a few minutes ago, whatever, is this. So we have space in at 1 o'clock, the 2:30, and the 4. And the 10 o'clock is room for 1 in the 10 o'clock session. But that doesn't
So wait,
change.
the 1 o'clock, the 2 o'clock, and the 4 o'clock?
That's the chart here shows what people have booked, not what spaces are available. So we're max 4. So there's room for all 4 sessions at the moment for someone to join in. So.
Would you be able to fit 3 people in one of those sessions?
No,
No. Okay. Cool.
3. Who?
My buddy Nikki wants to come do it too.
Wait, this Bryce you're talking about?
Bryce
Somebody else.
and another girl, Nikki. She came with us to Kyoto. And
Then we could do an after hours. I mean, after we're closed tonight or something like that.
maybe, yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, she said she wants to come by and see your shop. Ugh.
Show us your print. I wasn't talking to us, talking to somebody else.
Because these are. Look at this. I like this joke. I hate it.
Which one are we talking about? This month?
This one's joke is fun. Is this one hasn't shipped out yet, has it?
She's still printing it when you ship it. It's, in fact, we're really, really, really late. This is the one that ships November 1st.
Did I not get it yet? I thought I got it in the mail.
Which one are you talking about? The laughing, that's last month.
Right. But
That's gone.
the
That's
awkward
October
phase,
1st.
The awkward phase one. You guys haven't shipped that one yet?
That's 2 months ago. This one. That's
so.
I forget which is which.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gone. Gone.
Go. This was a good one.
See here.
Here you go. Dead Steve asked, was Bryce here for a specific purpose too, or more for company? So Bryce and I work together doing Comic Cons in the United States. Bryce probably goes to about... Oh, cool. Smallest, yeah. Thank you for supporting us. I hope you like that one. I thought that one was funny. So yeah, my friend Bryce, he does about half my shows for me in the United States, and I try to take on the other half. And so he had never been to Japan before, and he knew I was coming out, and so he asked if he could come along. So yeah, so you guys might have met Bryce. He's a taller, red-headed man with a beard. Yeah. So he'll be at half the shows if you guys come to our booth at any of the different Comic Cons or whatever.
So he runs them instead of you, or you run one show and he runs another show the same weekend, stuff like this? You double teaming? Or?
Well, I mean, there are just sometimes that, like, if I'm on the road that many weekends in a row, it just gets to be...
Okay. So he subs for you?
He subs for me, yeah. It gets to be just too much on my family to be gone that much.
So do people sometimes think he's Jed? Hi Jed, how are you? Or whatever? Or...
It gets complicated, yeah. Sometimes people think he's me, even though we look very different. But like we're both bearded white dudes, and so well, I mean, there's beards and then there's beards, but we're both bearded white dudes. So a lot of people think we're the same person, and then it makes it awkward for Bryce because he repeatedly has to tell people. No, I'm not him. No. But he's a good sport about it.
Does he go to Europe for... No.
Oh, somebody says, like somebody's doing the laughing bearded white dude.
So, London, what's happening here?
Let's see. Yeah, I want to see you in London Comic Con next year, Jed, says Dead Steve. Yeah, so my friend William Francis runs all the London shows for me, and eventually I do want to get out to London. What are you doing, Dave?
I'm just trying to keep track of the chat because I can't see it, so I want to read it later.
Yeah, eventually I do want to get out to London. But it's the distance is prohibitive. Yeah, Total Biscuit, rest in peace. Yeah, it's a sobering reminder that all these things that we build in life, have their place, but we could be snuffed out any minute.
Speak for yourself.
Whatever. You're the one who lives in a 70-year-old building in Tokyo. Let's see here. And then also smallest Dan. I was tempted to go to Gamescom in Germany. I don't know. Gamescom would be cool. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it there someday. It just looks huge and amazing. Oh yeah. Total Biscuit gave us a really nice boost.
He helped us so much.
He gave us a really nice boost about 4 years ago.
We had started the portrait series, and he just subscribed to it, not really understanding what it was. I spoke to him later. He didn't really understand they were woodblock prints. He just thought they were cool game designs. So he subscribed to it, and I didn't know who he was because he used his real name for the subscription, so it didn't match it. And 3 or 4 months into the series, he'd got the 3rd print or something. He put it on one of his video presentations, which of course has millions of viewers.
Right.
And he didn't describe it well. He said, I got these cool game pictures. He showed them something like this and gave the link to our website. And over the next few weeks and months, we got hundreds of subscribers to the series.
Yeah.
And it was a mixed bonus because a lot of them didn't even understand that it was a subscription or that it was woodblock prints. Just Total Biscuit showed me this neat stuff and let's buy it.
Let's buy it. Yeah.
So it was a mixed blessing, but a lot of the people that he had recommended did stay. And our revenue for the next couple of years was much increased because of that.
Well, I bet some of those people stayed on as fans for
they're
perpetuity.
still with us now, yes, of course.
Yeah.
And I wrote back to him once I had found out who he was and what he had done. I wrote back to him, and he was really cool. And somebody in his business where he's got a really million followers, there's this person called an influencer.
Oh yeah.
And he wasn't an influencer in the sense of he tried to get money from all this, like, hey, give me a series of free prints and I'll boost them and stuff like that. He did not do that at all. He did it just without any quid pro quo at all. And when I wrote back and said, man, you've helped us really a lot. Could I can switch your subscription this year to be a freebie? Is that okay? And he said, David, well, you don't really need to do that. I'll happily buy them. I mean, this guy had given us like 200 subscribers. And so I said, no, if it's okay with you, as long as there's no conflict of interest, I'll switch you to a freebie from here on in. And he said, well, that would be really nice, thank you. But he didn't ask for that. He asked for absolutely nothing. So
Yeah.
real nice guy.
Yeah, YouTube is interesting. It's I mean, the amount of followership and perceived almost friendship you get with these broadcasters, right? And they do a fairly good job. They do a fairly good job, keeping it that way, making it feel personal, even though they have like millions of followers. And stuff like that.
The other side of it, I mean, my daughter is running this site where they sell wedding supplies. Like, they do everything, tiaras and clutches and dresses and rings and like everything you need for a wedding. And she says they're bombarded with requests from, hey, I'm an influencer, I have 20,000 YouTube things, give me a free wedding dress and I'll blah, blah, blah about it. And they have to sort out which ones of these to play with and which ones to say, get out of here, because she has no idea.
Sure.
So everybody's claiming to be a big influencer. So Fumi and her PR people have to dig through and find out, does this person really have value to bring us and stuff like that? Because I guess it's a big deal now to claim you're an influencer and try and get merch and free stuff. And Humi's in the business, one of the businesses where that's a really big deal. Instagram, wedding talk and stuff like that.
Totally.
So we don't have that at all here. We don't get people requesting us, can I be an influencer for you guys? But for her,
not so much.
For her, it's a big deal.
Somebody says, Dave, do your laundry. Dead Steve says, Dave, do your laundry.
8:28. Okay. My life is programmed. I have to get another cup of green pigment anyway, so yes. You ride her for 2 minutes, Jed, son, please.
Okay, yeah.
I'll do my laundry and get some pigment. Excuse me.
Oh, sure. Everybody says laundry. So let's talk about Japanese food, people. Let's get down to it. What do you guys like? I've been here and I've been eating way too much because this is my chance to get good stuff. There are not a lot of good Japanese restaurants where I am. There's an okay place. There's a pretty okay place. They have excellent, curry. Yeah, Dave never talks about food. It's because Dave's like a survival eater. He eats like a meal a day, I think. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. I don't know. Is Asakusa famous for tempura? I didn't even know. Oh, yeah, I guess it could be. Hey, Dave, is Asakusa famous for tempura? Is Asakusa famous for tempura?
Yeah, Tendon is the main one.
Oh, really? もう何回も来てるけど知らなかった。Survival eater sounds like a new game genre. I once had mochi and it tasted so different to everything I've ever had. Yeah, right. Mochi's fun. I like grilled or deep fried mochi. Both are really good. Yeah, right. We're unsupervised, so we're being rebels talking about food. Oh yeah, I bet Japanese seasonal items on the Starbucks menu are interesting. One thing I do love about Japan is that the restaurants like turn over new items for every season, and I think that's cool. Yeah, bean paste. So Dead Steve, you can get like stuff like that in the United States pretty easy, just because we have a huge Asian population, like mostly in California, Oregon, Washington. But then, across the whole country, we have a pretty thriving Chinese, Korean, Japanese population, and they all in different ways do the bean paste thing, and so we have pretty good access to that. I like that. That's one reason I like the United States, melting pot, etc. But I bet you guys get better Pakistani food than us in the UK for obvious reasons. Yeah, satori. Yeah, the bean paste is like the red bean paste, but they also make like a black bean paste and a white bean paste, and it's like sweet. Kantar and Satori HS. Yeah, so like eating out in Japan is pretty cheap. The only problem is that like you think that yeah, I don't know. You sit down and you think like, oh, this is different than like fast food in the West. Like this isn't, fish and chips. It's not a burger and fries. So this must be like healthier. But like after a while, it does start to just be fast food. Because you don't get a lot of like greens when you eat out here a lot of the time. So you need to make sure like every once in a while to go to like a sit down place and get a salad, or else your body will deteriorate while you're on vacation. That's right. Marzipan and wagashi, white bean paste. Yeah. We were just talking about food while you were gone, Dave. Huh. Food fantasy
I
trip.
got no problem with that.
One thing that I loved about the countryside is that every family has like a kaki tree in their yard, and I swear nobody eats them. So I would anybody was out in their yard and I just walked by, I'd say, "Hey, can I pick a kaki from your tree?" And they'd say, "Oh, sure. Nobody eats those ones. Those are gross kaki," and they'd just let me pick a bunch of kaki.
But many of them are too astringent.
That's the I forget the name of the fuyukaki are the flat ones, or like the more,
big round,
the
apple-ish sort of a shape. You mean?
Oh, I'd say they're more mikan shaped. They're like
okay, yeah.
They're more squat.
Or a miniature pumpkin or something.
Yeah. And then the I forget the other kind. The other persimmons are tall, and you can't eat those off the tree because it's like
they're ready for hanging, of course.
You're eating. What is it? It tastes like you're eating like.
They're astringent.
Yeah. Hairspray or something. All those times I've eaten hairspray.
Beat me to it.
Koringami, yeah, absolutely. It's. I love persimmon trees in the fall. It's so pretty. Somebody said I lived it with Iranians in Turkey, and they had made some damn good food. I have never had much Persian food, like Iranian food, but I've heard that it's amazing. I love, what's it called? What's this stuff called? Like rose essence and rose water and things like that. And I've heard that like a ton of Persian cooking has rose flavor in it. I'm curious.
Has anybody asked about show and tell? I prepared the other day some books here that I was going to show people.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and you would really be interested in this, I think.
Yeah. Oh, it's that same artist.
It's that guy, yes.
From the 60s?
This is more current stuff.
Where's that? Who's this person?
This guy's insane. I think he's one of the most unknown. Astonishing. Should we do that? Should we show some of this stuff?
Sure.
Those of you who have seen the video I did, it's a month ago now, I guess, the one about the beginnings, the first prints I owned. The designer was Okada Yoshio. Just to recap here, it was this. The guy who was designing this stuff, do you remember the 4 prints I bought that were the Genji model? Oops! Can we show this? It's okay. He's got some stuff that borderline. No, there's.
There's
naked
nothing. No,
pictures.
no, that's not. That's not.
So. It's the first one. Anyway, this
Are
is
they
the
illustrated books like narratives?
guy. No, he works as a quote. In fact, he rejects. I'm not an artist. He's an illustrator, and he's proud to be an illustrator. Meaning, send me a job. Okay, good. I'll draw that. Bang, draw it. Here you go with the job. So that's his skill and his craft. And the one we showed in my video some while back was a set of 4 woodblock prints that were made from his designs.
But they were.
And the
They
original.
were contracted.
Yes, he was hired by a newspaper company to do the illustrations for a modern language version of the Genji Monogatari story. And that, in the old one, is 57 chapters or something. So they did it as a Sunday supplement to the newspapers. I'm trying to tell you this one. You remember this one. So this is a book that was published at the end of the newspaper series with the little text things and his illustrations. So the weekly newspaper series became a book.
Is that the design that you ended up doing?
And this is one. No, I didn't do it at all. This was 4 woodblock prints were published. You haven't seen that video, son?
I did.
This is one of the 4 prints that became. So anyway, Okada-san, Okada Yoshio is the guy's name. He's a world-class illustrator, known well in Japan, but relatively unknown
He's fantastic.
in the rest of the world. And he can draw. He's got a very specific style. Within that style, he's fantastic.
He is fantastic.
There are people who don't like it, but the point being, he has an extremely vivid style. And what I've been doing, since people were asking me about that, Dave, does this guy have any other work? I've been poking around in the bookstores and the used bookstores, and I have come up with, now I've got another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, another 10 of his books. He has a ton of stuff published. Somebody's mentioned the Surfer Girl. Somebody somewhere along the line, I still do not know who, took one of his designs and cut it as a woodblock print, the one that we now know as Surfer Girl. If somebody gives a link here somewhere, if you search Okada Yoshio, Y-O-S-H-I-O, Surfer Girl, you'll find the image. And if you like large-bottomed ladies, then you're going to like that design. If you like yours is a slimmer type, it's not so much. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Corey and Gummy, you're asking about books. I'm just going to show you now, very quickly, a half a dozen books. And I don't know if they're available at Amazon.com, but whatever. And anyway, here's
Okada Yoshio.
the site. So, and he works mainly with Japanese authors who are taking classic texts and reworking them into modern Japanese. And the prints, the designs are so well suited to becoming woodblock prints. I mean, some of them are I haven't prepared this or studied this. Let me just get this. This is what is this? This is an aerial view it's an isometric view of a Heian-era castle. That's too complicated to see. Here we go. I have no idea what the story is behind this. I'm sorry, I can't tell you the story. So these are just images. And he works to a large extent in flat color, which of course suits us. He works with very, very vivid, strong, bold colors, which suits the classical ukiyo-e style as well. Be careful about reflections here. And he's got line work. The guy can draw lines.
Well, what's interesting about his line work is that even though he works in such a traditional style, his lines are incredibly thin and uniform. And so he's completely rejecting like that
Fude style,
ukiyo-e
yes,
line.
yes,
The Fude line. But that's fine because it's still working. And so I find that interesting that he's able to achieve like a very like wafu aesthetic, Japanese aesthetic,
And here we
while not using the line, because like line is like my crutch, like line is my business, right?
This guy's all about the color and the fact, and the pattern. There's astonishing patterns. And here we are. One of his trademark things is this. This gentleman has a kimono with a specific pattern on it. And now, in the old days, kimonos had patterns, and if you had taken a photograph, you would see the pattern. It would become modeled as it moved around the curves of the fabric. But the ukiyo-e artists did not do that. They took the pattern and they did it all as though we were seeing it straight from the front, even when it was around the bend of the fabric. He's followed that, and he has a quirk where he takes the kimono pattern and he then throws it out into the real world. So the guy is standing in the middle of this hanging flower, which is his kimono pattern, and they become one and the same.
What is it? Wait, Okada Yoshio?
Yes, Okada Yoshio.
I'm still gonna steal that.
And the inventiveness and it just spills all over the page. Color, 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 and any one of these things could be a print or it could be a part of a print. And the same thing, the kimono pattern spills out. It becomes a bit of a trope, actually, after a while. Every single image has this. Anyway, that wasn't the one I really intended to show. I don't even know what that story is. I don't know. How do you pronounce that, Jed? 3 days, months, monogatari.
I don't know. I'm so crappy at
Me
Japanese.
too, but that's not even a normal pronunciation thing. It's put together.
I'm sure, exactly. And it's probably classical Japanese. It's half Chinese. It's
Here's-
Mikatsuki.
Mikatsuki Monogatari. And this may be a really classical old story that I don't know about. I mean, we're showing ignorance here. The stuff we know about and the stuff we don't know about. Anyway, the one I really want to show is this. He has gone... I know kabuki is the mainstay of all Japanese illustration for hundreds of years. And he has done a series of 5... He has reinvented 5 of the classic kabuki plays. We have the Kanade Hon Chushingura, the 47 Ronin story. We have the Sakura, what did we do? Senbon Sakura? Jed-san?
Yoshitsune
Senbon
Senbon
So
Sakura.
we have classic ukiyo-e stuff. Let's do the,
I didn't know that's how you write Yoshitsune, but yeah, that's Senbon Sakura. Yeah. Let's do that one. Oh no, do you have...
the Yoshingura,
This
Chushingura?
is, no, do Yoshitsune Senbon
okay.
Sakura, because there's a fox in it.
Let's see what he's done.
I want to see what he does with the fox.
He has reinvented these things in a modern illustrative style. If we get the camera at a reasonable angle here, let's...
Well, do you want me just to put the camera over your shoulder?
Or just if we just moved a little bit, give me a bit. It's going to be...
Yeah, that's at the
I think
very
we're
edge of what we can
and
do.
we can probably zoom in a bit here. Here we go. Here. Is that okay?
It's like this is like a PBS kids book hour. It's like reading Rainbow.
Here we go.
You're
Yoshitsune.
gonna have to take Dave's word for it.
About what?
No, it's a reference to the 1980s in America.
Okay. And I don't know the story, so I can't tell you what's happening in this. For me, this is just the visual impact of these things. And if I were trying to make this as a woodblock print, how would I go about it?
This is a kabuki.
And this is the kabuki story. So, and anyway, my God, just look at this. I mean, even what they're seeing on this TV screen. Can we zoom into a bit of this? This guy does not know when to stop. Literally, he just does not know when to stop. And you either like it or you don't. And it's as over the top as kabuki itself is. Who these people are and what they're doing, I don't know. But my God, I would love to. Just everywhere. There's detail, there's color, there's balance.
Yeah, I forget the story. I read it back in college. Does anybody remember? Something about what is it?
Well, it's similar.
Oh, somebody has a
cherry
fox, like fox for something, and a fox shows up and says that is this. Oh, it's a drum. Somebody has a magic drum, and the magic drum can do something, and then a fox shows up and says that drum is made out of the skin of my parents.
Ouch.
And so they give the drum back to the fox, and the fox does something magical for them and gets them out of a bind. Because Yoshitsune is on the run from the the Taitas.
There's some kind
Clan?
of bird theme here. We've got the swallows with cherry blossoms sort of envisioned into them. And these are going through every single one of these pictures. Mm-hmm. We have these swallows with the cherry blossoms. So some kind of theme that presumably runs through the story. And it's also running through these pictures. It's either a single bird reimagined or... And any one of these would just be so spectacular to make as a print, you know.
Mm-hmm. The registration would be rough. Would be rough, right?
The more detail there is, the harder such things.
Well, the
get,
thinner the lines are, right?
Oh, look at this. I mean, this is too much. I'm sorry. This is over. This is too much. I mean, I can't even tell the guy's face. The pattern and it's just...
Somebody says, Dave, is this style more suited to Kyoto type opaque colors? Just curious with the bright colors.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I know I'm seeing these in the sense of the printmaking that we would do. Cut a key block first and fit transparent overlaid colors on top of it. I see this as being local to what we're doing.
You can get some pretty darn vivid colors through block printing. sometimes too much. You know, you need to tone it back.
Is that your drum here, Jedson?
Yeah, that's the drum made out of the
it.
fox skin.
This is the Inari Shrine. We're going to foxes here. This is
Yeah. And I think that lady is a fox. I think she's a fox in disguise. I think.
Look at this. This is too much, man. This is too much. It's like, for me, when I see some clip of a modern film or something, the cutting is so short and fast and bang, 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 it's all in my face, and I just give up after a few minutes. And this is the equivalent of that. Look at this. There's something there. They've even curved the text around here. This is too much. Let me find something quieter.
Wait, I want to see the fox. Go back.
No, go back.
Keep going. till
We
see
haven't.
the
Okay.
fox. I just want to see what he does with it. And the magic. That's cool. Wow. What an image.
Yeah, look at this. The birds have become seas with boats on them,
Jeez. How?
And the text. These are astonishing productions. Absolutely astonishing productions. But whatever, how much is enough and how much is too much, I don't know.
Those are, I forget what those are, but they're
Tiger
symbols
lilies. Symbols of...
of death.
Yeah, you see them in graveyards, I know.
Yeah.
Don't know, I forget the Japanese word. Higanbana. I beat you to it.
What is it?
Higanbana.
Yeah.
Is this our fox lady?
Maybe.
So somebody's commented here, no negative space, like right, no negative space.
I gotta see. I'll do it.
Hi.
Yeah.
You find a better example. That isn't work that I would really feel. Okay, tell you what. Let's go back in time. That's his newer stuff. This is different. This is 1970s Okariyoshi.
(1970s).
This is 1970s. This is about the era when he was doing those prints for the Genji Monoka. And this is different stuff. This is, we have Okari-yosho. Onna ezoshi. Onna is women. Ezoshi is the name for those old picture books. Eh? So zoshi is those old novels and stuff that we have in the shop. And these are women, this is the stuff that you've seen in the same kind of drawing that we saw in the Genji Monogatari books.
I love how he doesn't change line weight. I think that's really interesting. And I love how it's like an adaptation of ukiyo-e. Like it feels like a super stylized human.
This was, in fact, it's in the text that goes at the back of this book. Either he himself or his editor have said that this is the modern Utamaro. So he or his publishers were comparing him to Utamaro.
I love it. Really interesting.
We're getting too bright, too dark, no shadows. Now these are women, these are working women. So the tissues are the key. These are working women in the brothels. These are in their off hours. And he likes
Curvy people.
Big, full fleshy people.
Oh, look at this. These illustrations are amazing.
I'm not even sure the anatomy. I'm not quite sure what we're seeing
That's
here.
a
I
neat.
don't quite understand.
And this leg is bent down and under.
I don't get it.
She's sitting like this.
One leg over the other, cross-legged. Okay.
That's her right leg.
No.
And then that's her. Yeah, that's gotta be her right
Okay,
leg. That's her underleg. So this is actually her shin.
If you say so. And he's got a thing about underarm here. And in this
Tweezing
book-
arm hair?
Yeah, pulling out underarm. You'll
That
see
sounds
it.
horrifying.
It comes back and forth in this book a lot. I know. And this is the same. This is the surfer girl's sister, or before she gets up on the surfboard. And this is him when he was younger. This is 1970s, so he was born, I think, about 1930, 30s, 40s, 50s. So he's about 50 years old by now.
Gross.
Yeah, look at
Amazing,
this.
amazing.
So. Now, what have we here?
Super intimate.
So, and again, he has this thing about hair. And look at this one. No other Japanese artist would do this. It's
armpit
about
hair?
armpit hair. I mean, that's not supposed to exist here. Literally, it's not supposed to exist. Nobody ever would think about it.
I mean, it was the 70s, right?
Is that part of it? I don't know. Who knows? No idea. So this is the evolution. This is the guy back in the 1970s. Some of those kabuki pictures we just saw right now are. So I guess, do you see it?
What is that?
It's an insect.
No, it's not. That's a bra strap. That's a bra.
With a catch?
Yeah, that's the bra catch.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue the point.
Yeah, it's absolutely part of the bra.
Okay. And then more of a classic.
Yeah.
Ukiyo
Cool.
brooch.
These are really cool.
And there's one specific, I'll be skipping here, I can't scroll this whole book, but there's one specific one that's worth jumping to because, excuse me a sec, guys. Hey. He moves into if you think about like the pictures, Lautrec and the French, you guys who drew pictures of the prostitutes in the back rooms and
Sure.
stuff, and he's got them here all in their own free time, and again,
Talking and stuff.
yeah. And there are bugs.
Oh, that's a bug. Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's a bug cockroach. So what is it about women and bugs and stuff?
Oh, I love that lather. That's cool.
Two bearded guys arguing about bra anatomy. What are we doing here? What is going on here?
Just saying.
What is this?
It's obviously a bra. Part of the bra.
Okay, if you say so. Whatever. So. Anyway, this is back to now. This is Genji Tamayura. This is the imagined story. We have the Genji Monogatari story as it is. Everybody knows that. And this is imagined details from that guy's life. And these now, to me, are more doable.
Except for that one.
They're not. No, I mean they're not that unbelievable over-the-top thing that the kabuki stuff was.
You'd have to you couldn't do gradients and all that. That'd just be insane.
Why not?
A gradient on every flower?
Have you seen any Paul Jacqueline prints? Paul Jacqueline. I shouldn't show you this because you're going to start demanding
No,
stuff
I
that we
won't.
can't do.
I don't.
but,
That stresses me out.
this is more reachable. So.
Somebody says, if I have to get one Japanese wood print book, what do I get?
Well, maybe these are not the ones we're showing right now. These are not books of Japanese woodblock prints. This is a Japanese illustrator. It's actually nothing to do with woodblock print work. These are things that would easily become prints if we tried to imagine them as such. But, so I'm not sure what you're asking. If you
Well, he was. Yeah, these aren't wood prints, but somebody wants to know about wood prints.
yeah, that would be a print right there. Look at that.
That's a good one. Nice standalone.
Yeah.
I would bring the hair in a little bit on this side, just for the sake of the wood print. Just for the sake of the wood print. Not because I think that it's bad design, but because it'd be a waste of paper.
For me, the ones that have a nicer balance between empty space and there's the space, we see where we are, there's the bridge. I mean, I really, really like this kind of stuff. That kabuki stuff a minute ago, that was just too over the top for me. But I could see spending a time and effort in making this into a print. There's just enough beauty in all the different components.
It would have to be
balance.
Obon.
Now, of course, you can't shrink it down without losing the detail. But
Abyss series, honestly, the best resources of Japanese printmaking that I've found have been online. There are excellent sources where people categorize, and they'll show different prints of the same design, so you can see all the different ways that like the same design was printed. Honestly, I've found the internet to be an endlessly amazing resource.
you're talking about ukiyo.org to show?
Yeah,
It's a huge
ukiyo.org.
database.
Yeah, ukiyo.org has been really good. And there are also, like, the Smithsonian has an awesome online reference of Japanese prints. Lots of places online. where you can really zoom in and look at
Oh my God.
details.
I mean, he just doesn't know where to stop, you know. And actually, I heard the same thing. The problem they had with that Genji series, those 4 prints, the back and forth between Okada-san and the publisher. Okada-san just kept demanding more. No, let's carve another hair block. Let's do this. Let's carve another one. And he didn't know when to stop. And the publisher at some point just had to, there was a fight with him. He said, we can't do any more. That's it. We're going to publish these things as they are. And the relationship broke down, and there was only 4 prints published. It could have been a series of 50 prints. You know?
It's amazing.
I have no idea, actually. Somebody's asking about the technical thing here. What technique does Okada-san use to make these things? And I have no idea. I understood that he's working in analog materials, not on a computer screen. But some of these, they look awfully clean and, you know, clicked in gradients. No, they look a bit digital, clicked in gradients from Photoshop and stuff. So I don't know. And these gradients, Jetson, I mean, that looks to me like if you had done the line work with a pen, put it into a computer, and then the colors are also perfectly flat and smooth. This
It looks
digital colorization.
I don't know any other way to say it. I mean, he might be stippling all this himself. It looks like he's taking a ton of time and stippling.
Okay, there were those black lines, but the colors, they are so perfectly smooth and
Right.
matched.
Well, what year did this come out?
This is, it's not that old. Where are we here? 1991. So
Boom.
yeah.
I bet it's digital.
But let's look at the one from the 70s, where they obviously didn't have Illustrator or Photoshop. Yeah, so if you look at these, he's not doing that because he has to hand paint everything. See?
So,
Everything's got so much more texture and variety in it because he is doing actual ink washes.
you mean in the background, you mean? Or in,
Yeah, I mean,
There is
you
tone,
can
yeah.
see variety.
So these are works on paper.
These are works on paper. Yeah, absolutely. He might. It looks like he's actually using. Let me see. I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually working on cream paper and then painting the white, because the cream color is so much more necessary than the white. So I wouldn't be surprised.
You mean what you're saying is instead of that being the paper color, this is the
Yeah,
paper
it's
color.
obvious. Look, so the white is not the white paper.
Yeah, I
It's
get you. So that's the paper color
He's using
left alone.
He's
and then
using
it's painted on. Yeah, you can see it there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's using like cream paper.
But that's back in the 1970s. So those kabuki things, just to grab another one. Do you think he's drawing on a computer then?
No, it's all ink work.
So the ink work is done on illustration board or something.
And then somebody's
Scanned it
scanning
in.
it in, and he's coloring it digitally. Well, no, this
no,
one.
look at that, it's painted.
This
Jason.
one's painted. I'm talking about that other book.
Yeah.
That other book really did look too smooth. Maybe like Tochude, maybe the editor was like, "Hey, what if we tried this? It could really simplify your life."
And the volumes, I mean, how long does it take to do these things, Yeah, that green looks modeled, But then you've got to run up against all these lines. Can you do
That's
that?
all. That's all hand done. Mm-hmm. That's all hand done.
Against those lines like
Yeah,
that.
he's just a really careful painter.
And we don't know what scale they are.
We don't know what scale they are. It looks like he's just being insanely careful. Somebody says, or maybe he's just good. What? But that other one was obviously digital. Like it had to have been. Had to. No other way around it.
But what about this, Jits, huh? A gradation like that in the back. There's no way that can be hand done, surely. From deep at one side
Yeah,
out
that's
to the other.
the
got to be
designer. I think that's the designer.
designer. I mean, that's digitally applied, sure.
Yeah, it has to be.
The people doing the layout work here.
Yeah. Has to be.
So things like this kimono color are painted by hand, is what you're saying?
And then that has to be digital. And the thing is, that even the airbrush wouldn't give you something that smooth.
Over such a large area.
It couldn't do it. Somebody says the Boston Museum of Fine Art has a fine collection of ukiyo-e images online. Yes, they do. Maybe one of the best in the world, honestly.
It's just too much. Just too much. You know. But if you imagine this guy back in time 100 years ago, he's the Yoshitoshi kind of guy, you know, feeding a workshop, and they're just making woodbuck prints of all this stuff, one after the other, after the other, after the other. You know?
In this case, it's just it's a publishing house. Who's the publisher?
Oh, it's all over the place. Different people using it. This is from the Mainichi newspaper. Like I said, the ones, this would have been run again as a Sunday supplement. So at the end of the year, the Mainichi published it as a book. Those are, I think, Kodansha?
Kurabusha.
Just pop in.
I don't know who that is.
If you look at his Wikipedia page in Japanese, there's just the list is, I don't even know, 50 books long or something of the books he's published. So anyway, sort of a bit of a sidetrack, guys. Sorry, I tried to do a show and tell the other day about some small little prints, and it turned out I hadn't done my research, and I'm trying to explain something I don't know anything about. Anyway, what are we doing here this morning? I'm supposed to actually be, you know, nominally doing work here.
Uh-oh.
Whatever, you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you were mixing that green over there.
I was trying to find a green, yeah. Is that the one I ended up with? I can't remember. I think that was it. I was just trying to get a couple of test greens, you know. The print, we're doing this here, you've seen the proof, and we're still at the proof stage. Mm-hmm. And nobody is jumping up and down with real excitement about this, you know. It's a very quiet print this year. In fact, the other day, it wasn't yesterday, because I wasn't here, 2 days ago, I think. I brought the first ones out. I showed them on the stream like this, and the chat went totally, absolutely silent. Like 3 minutes went by with nobody saying anything. They were sitting in stunned silence. They've been waiting for me to come up with a successor to the owl print from last year. You know, you hit a home run right out of the stadium. And it's not going to happen this year. We're going to have a pleasant, quiet print. And this is so far, this is the closest version to what it might be. This is, of course, still test printing, and it doesn't match up. And what I was trying to do was take the lilacs of the bird. This is the green just as a single block. Mm-hmm. The idea was to take some of the lilacs of the bird and overlay them onto the green, like this. So you'd get some areas of the green that were picking up the lilac a bit more and getting a bit more bluey green. Here's some. This is too much, obviously. We see the point, to try and make more interest in the green rather than just have a flat green.
I like the more yellow green.
But so that means no overlays from the bird, because the bird is blue, 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 lilac, lilac. So my current thinking is to forget those overlays.
I like this one the best.
And just go with the flat.
I like that one.
So there are no overlays from the bird. Just clean and simple.
Yeah, I like that one the best.
And the reason we thought about this, because back in the original, of course, there were. The original was a watercolor with very light green, and he had, you know, done his own gradations in the brush, giving darker greens and lighter greens.
Right, and even yellow greens.
So, but even to try and imitate that is why I overlaid parts of the bird, but it doesn't really look very good. And my next question is, do I get my knife out and chop that stuff off this block? So I'm going to run another test here, printing it right to the end and hiding those parts. So doing a nicer impression, but not overlaying the lilac onto the green.
Someone says, this channel has really shifted my work away from cyberpunk and more towards landscape, etc. Cool. Hey, let's see. Abyss series. Do you know, what's that name? Do you guys know that Swedish artist who does like landscapes plus cyberpunk? Just a minute, I gotta find him. Just see if your guys' collective mind can beat me to it. Oh, here we go. Simon Stalenhag. I'll type it in. If you guys are interested in like kind of like somebody beat me to it. if you're interested in like nature painting plus cyberpunk, he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing.
Oh, somebody beat you to it.
Yep.
And they got the macron or whatever it's called on top of the letters.
Yeah.
So I've learned over the time that I don't even try anymore usually, unless there's something hidden in my website that they can't find. Just let them go.
I'm amazed. Good job,
It's
guys.
good
Anyway, if you're interested in both cyberpunk and like natural landscape, Simon Stollenhag is freaking amazing. I love him. Actually, I'm going to show him to Dave later. I think Dave's going to be interested in his work too.
I don't recognize the work, so I don't think you've mentioned it before.
I'll show it to him later. Okay, somebody says, Dave, are the Okada Yoshio woodblock in your possession printable? Would you be able to like reverse engineer them?
I'll tell you, I own the wood blocks for that series, and are they printable? I think they are printable. They took 300 or 400 copies off them. They're a little bit worn, but they're not worn so badly that they couldn't be used. But they're not printable legally. I have the possession of the wood blocks, but that doesn't give me any ownership rights in being able to sell the things. Same with Jed. I've got all the wood blocks to the Ukiyo Hero series here.
Right. Dave has all the
I have
capacity.
physical possession of the wood blocks, but he owns the rights to those images. It's your IP. So if I suddenly had a stroke this morning and I fall and collapse and this all decays, Jed has a real problem. He wants to get those wood blocks back to be able to get them to somebody else who can print them. So it's an interesting legal question to which I don't know the answer. Who is the legal... Right there, this is the legendary loot print number 11. There's the physical block to print it.
We need to have a contract at some point.
Well, actually, this one's clear because I'm the one who's publishing the subscription series, and I pay you a royalty. So the fact that I have paid you a royalty, which is in the historical record, is there. This is mine. This block is mine.
Right, but
Your Heroes is the other way around, I think.
Well, I mean, you think we need to get something down in writing in the event that you or I gets hit by a bus.
Well, we do have that. Remember, we have a couple of emails back and forth. This is not this is not some secret stuff. Jed was concerned at one point that what happens if Jed, for example, got hit by a taxi or something, hit by a bus, and he's gone. He wants to protect his family's interests. So he has made sure with me that he wrote me an email saying, Dave, you're free to use these designs and blocks in perpetuity, and of course, pay a royalty back to your family.
Right.
And in fact, that's a kind of insurance for him. If he's gone and I'm still here, then his family can make a living out of this. So.
Which, I mean, there is a chance of that. You're in good health, and I'm clumsy.
So that is actually documented to that point. We know that we can continue as long as we pay the bills.
The other thing, though, is
the other way around.
So what happens if you croak and I suddenly lose the ability to make woodblock prints?
Okay, it's not as critical because you can make your own image designs and send them to JICLAs, and you can go online. You can't get the actual prints without having the technique at this end. And that comes down to that if I've done my job well enough and Moko Hankan can survive to the future after I'm gone, then you're cool with it. If I haven't built it to that point yet, which is where we are right now, because if I die today, it will pretty much collapse still. Then you've got a problem. There's a bunch of woodblocks hanging around here with no business structure in place to turn them into prints.
Do I have permission to talk general finances openly in front of everybody?
There's nothing going on.
Okay, so last night we were looking at Dave's finances, and Dave's really good at running his business. He's better at it than I am, and he keeps very good records of everything.
We're talking about the record keeping it, not running it in terms of managing the future, but record keeping.
Right, record keeping.
We keep our...
Dave's a very, I think he does a very tidy accounting job. And one thing I noticed on Dave's accounting is that the cost of running the place is usually just above, just below. Yes, the revenue is usually just above the cost of running the place year after year. So usually,
you see, the profit margin is very slim.
Very slim. Very slim. So slim that anybody would have to be crazy to want to get in on this.
There's something he doesn't understand about this place. And again, not to be sarcastic about this, I showed you the spread. And why is it? How can it be every month, just barely, we spend just almost enough? This is a business that's trying to grow, and we have no financing available. Imagine your classic business, Toyota, Apple, whatever. They want a new factory, you go to a bank, you get the money, you build a new factory, they make new products, profit comes, you pay back your bank. That's how you grow a business.
Right, but
by
you don't want to
obtaining
take out
financing.
loans.
I can't. I can't get money. I can't borrow money for the bank. I'm a 66 guy, blah, 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 blah. So what we're doing is we are financing from our own profits. And what that means is every bit of profit, instead of taking it as profit and me buying a Mercedes or something,
Right.
it goes back in. So we calculate, we try and spend everything we get.
Right.
So what you're seeing is, oh my God, it's just a barely surviving business with a tiny profit. No, we are just trying to spend everything. So it actually is more profitable than that.
So my only point is that you need to start training Dave too. Son of Dave, daughter of Dave, whatever, whoever that ends up being. And in order to do that, I think you need to open up another gap in the revenue versus cost margin in order to pay that person, because nobody else is going to work for nothing and passion like you do. It's a pretty open secret that like Dave Bull is not like a consumer whore, right? Like look at this guy. So, but there are other people. Other people have
People want to get paid.
people want to get paid because they have lifestyle needs that you,
yes.
as a unique person, don't care about. So I think that you're gonna have to find some room in the margins there to open up a new salary to train Dave number 2.
Can I interrupt you there for a second?
Sure.
This plan you're describing is underway and has been underway for at least 4 or 5 years. Just to say, the last 3 or 4 Ukiyo Heroes prints have not been carved by me. They've been carved by professional staffers here. All the Ukiyo printing now is done by professional printers here, not me. That job has been delegated out and smoothed and trained in and out. The bookkeeping now, subscription billing, everything, that's done by Cameron Side. In other words, I am well on the way to doing exactly what you were saying, building talent in this organization, delegating jobs one by one by one. So I'm with you,
Right.
and it's well underway.
And you have a bunch of very capable like sergeants. You need a general.
And that's, we're not big enough for me to hire a total general manager yet.
Right.
But we're on the way. You saw the growth figures.
Right.
I prepared one. I prepared this morning because I was going to try and show you why was I too busy yesterday to do a stream. Here's why I was too busy yesterday to do a stream. This is the revenue from our Asakusa shop, not from subscriptions or anything else. This is the revenue from the Asakusa
People
shop.
walking in the door
since we
and
opened
spending
up.
money.
Yeah, and it goes. You can see back in late 2014, and you can see the peaks there: spring, autumn, spring, autumn, spring, autumn, spring, and now this month, which is still not finished. This is why I didn't have time to do a stream yesterday, and I won't. But
We're in the middle of a bubble, a month-long bubble.
no, this is the growth of our business.
But you said this is a bubble.
There's one bubble aspect about it. Our movie is playing at airlines at the moment,
Right.
so that's bringing in more people than normal. So this is not the new normal.
because-
This is
yeah.
a little bit inflated, but the new normal, you can see where we're going. You can see the angle of this graph.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Exactly what you're saying. Grow the business, get more competent people. We are up and running and doing this.
We just need the one person who like doesn't drink the Kool-Aid, but like mainlines the Kool-Aid, if that's healthy.
Yes, and actually, and without being on a negative to Cameron's side, when we brought in Cameron last year, I was kind of hoping that would be Cameron.
Right, and he's a general. He's a sergeant, not a general. You know,
That's not a good analogy. He is very good at doing the stuff that we ask him to do. He's not a visionary, and he's not strong enough character to be a leader. Hey, look, I think you should do this. No, I know you don't want to do it. I think you should do this. He's personality incapable of doing that.
sure.
He's a real nice guy, but he's too quiet and too gentle and too
Right.
kind. You know, so
He's doing a very good job.
he might be watching this stream. Cameron, you understand? We're not speaking behind your back. I
He's
hope
doing
you're
a wonderful
watching.
job at the workload you gave him. Also,
Yeah, I
AKA,
define,
he's
yes.
an employee,
So-
right? That's exactly. I mean, and in some
That's the way
cases-
he wanted that to come in.
Right.
I want a personal life, and that's why we can't talk to him today, because it's a weekend and he doesn't exist on the weekend.
Well, and I mean, honestly, most companies don't want people to
supposed to
come
be
in and start
printed.
throwing their weight around. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, most companies want employees. They don't want people to come in and just shout their opinion all the time. Does that make sense?
Well, we need.
There's a place for both.
You just said we need a stronger manager, and if that person dropped in here this morning, he and I would have to really learn how to work together. I would
Right.
say, we don't do it that way like here. He
That's
says,
true.
No, we should do it that way.
That's true, because you'd have two cooks in the kitchen.
Yep. Somebody's mentioning Dave is the face of Mokohankan, and I absolutely am, of course. And we may never be able to make this transition from a single one-man show to a generic type of business.
That's my big concern, you guys. That's my big concern. As somebody who's, I'm 35,
Yep.
and
I'm 66.
Yeah, Dave's 66. I've made much less sacrifice in my life to be involved in woodblock printmaking than Dave. But
Sacrifice?
yeah, I mean, you know.
This is my job. You do your job. I do my job.
Yeah. Okay. Investment. I've done less investment than Dave has to be involved in this. I would like to continue to invest to be involved in this. I believe in what we do. I love what we do. I worry about the transition.
Yes, and the history is not good. There's a video I'm planning on making. No, this is a real true story. There's 5 woodblock workshops through the 20th century in Japan. I'm going to do a video about this. The Watanabe shop, the Adachi shop, Takamizawa, the Yuyudo, and the Doi Hunger Company. They all started doing fabulous, unbelievably world-class quality work because the founder had the idea, oh my God, here's what we can do. Watanabe Shozawa, Watanabe Doi Sarechi, these 5 men, Adachi Toisa, they had, oh my God, look what we can do. Let's build it, tell the guys what to do, show them what to do. All 5 of those businesses, all 5, were a key man, founder-driven, visionary business, and all 5 are now just a hollow shell of what they used to be, or they're gone. Because
Right.
the kid who took over the company, the family member, in all the cases, the family member who took it over wasn't his dad.
You're like a less crazy Elon Musk. Like everybody's worried about Tesla's future. Like once he's gone, right? It's the same thing.
Little bit the same thing. I mean, that's like Amazon or Tesla. It's not quite the same as a family business. It's driven by the founder with a vision and doing it in-house and stuff. So this is why I didn't call this place Dave Bull Prints, like Watanabe calls it Watanabe Print Workshop. Adachi called it Adachi Workshop, his own name. I didn't do that. On our advertising for the print parties, it doesn't say come and do a print party with Dave. It says come and do a print party with the Mokuhankan cheery staff. I have tried to make myself not the single guy who is totally what this place is all about.
Right.
But the evidence, those 5 businesses, which were fabulous businesses, are all nothing but a hollow shell of what they used to be. So the historical track record is not good. What can I say?
Yeah.
They print new designs, but they're hollow shells of a business. They don't know what they're doing. There's no vision. There's no drive for the company. Adachi is a total hollow shell. You're going to push it one day, and it's going to fall over when the government money stops coming through for their training programs. Adachi is a hollow shell now. To the Disney example,
Yeah.
whatever. But that's
Yeah,
what
Walt
but
Disney, right?
Okay, but it got big enough that the thing could actually. It's not the same as it was when Walt was running it, but it's a going concern. It's not the same business that it was, but it's a going concern. It can continue, and that's our challenge. It won't be the same Mokuhankan after I'm gone, but just let's get it to the shape and volume and size where it at least can keep going. Right? That's the idea. And whether we will get there or not, I have no idea, but that's the goal. Delegate, 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 delegate. And I'm trying to do it.
You're doing a wonderful job.
The last 3 prints, Rooker's prints, I did not touch them. I watched and I talked and I cajoled and I said no, but I didn't physically touch them.
Is there any one person out in there in Tokyo that like we could quote like headhunt, who knows the process A to Z, who's youngish? I don't know.
What I'm sort of hoping, this is a cloudy wish list. The way that employment and companies and lifestyles work here in Japan, there would be a real opportunity for us. A young woman, and I'm being specifically sexist here, it's got to be a young woman. She's working for Sony or SoftBank or Mizuho Bank or something. She is sharp. She could run the place. She will never be allowed to run the place because it's Mizuho Bank and she's a female. There's the glass ceilings are still very strong here.
Yeah.
That woman would hear about a TV program, come and see us, just chat with us and think, holy crap, And we could get her to come here because for a person like that, the future is totally unlimited. They're not going to earn the tons of money they would earn at Mizuho Bank, but they could be creative and directive and run a company and be free and no glass ceiling. There's got to be a ton of women like that.
I know a ton of women like that where I'm from.
Well, do you know any in Japan? And I say women rather than men because it's the women that have that solid glass ceiling that totally doesn't exist here. Totally doesn't. The shoe lady. I knew somebody was going to say that. The shoe lady.
Every day she clip-clopped down the street and we didn't know what we had.
So actually, I live in.
Look at this. Mokan needs to promote the other artisans in the shop. They are busy. Sugi-san is making prints. That's what she's good at. Dei-chan is doing parties. That's what she's good at.
Dave's now the cheerleader. Dave's the.
This was delegation. Find people to do these jobs and let them do it and keep out of their way. And that's what's happening. We don't need to promote anybody within the shop here. None of them are visionaries like this. We need to find, just like the person I described, someone who's really got good smarts. They've got ambition, and they're being held back where they are. And they're willing to get in here first with not much money, but then the infinite possibilities.
What about and okay, well, we won't talk about specific people in the staff currently.
The staff, I don't see anybody in the staff who can do the kind of job we're talking about. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to knock them all down. We mentioned Cameron. Cameron is not the giant visionary powerhouse leader here.
Well, including me, I can't do it. You know,
So,
I can't do it either. I don't live here, and I don't know the process.
I'm half playing with the idea, and I can't really do this because I would crap all over it, but the idea of making a YouTube video in Japanese, talking about who we are and what we're doing, and looking for that woman. Dave Bull needs you. Is this you? You know, like they
Go on.
whatever. I don't know how to do it. I know. Just by doing it, you would make it not happen. But, you know, so. I've done a little bit. The
Somebody says, do they need to be good at finance? They need to be able to balance accounts, right? I mean, they need to keep track of stuff. That all?
I was just trying to think. We're on TV and newspaper magazines and stuff. And a year or so ago, we were interviewed by a kind of, it's Kate Gaho magazine. It's a big Japanese fashion magazine, and they have an English version. And the woman who came here to do the interview was, oh my God, no, I just wanted you. This is the woman who could run my business, you know. And of course, I didn't say anything. She interviewed me and blah 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 and did that. But as she left, I thought, oh my God, you know, I'm not saying anything sexist or bad. I didn't chase her as a woman. But that is the person who seemed to have these speaking skills and ability to, you know, she just blew me away with how smart she was. And if I was a job interviewer, bang, in your company.
Do you have her card?
Of course I have her card, but she's working for a major giant corporation, seemingly perfectly happy. I've got 3 or 4 of these people that have come in contact with us, and I've kept
So
their names.
here's the thing: is like this is my point. Is if you could figure out a way to fit that salary into your budget, and then just start firing off invitations for
Headhunting, you mean?
yeah, firing off invitations for.
I mean, there is a route for that. Remember, we had a situation a year ago when I was buried in bookwork, and I went to Patreon and said, I need, you know, somebody to do my bookwork so I can get back to the carving and printing bench. And they worked. Patreon poured money into us. It's about $4,000 a month that's still coming in from Patreon, and that's paying Cameron. And that shouldn't be going on I've got to restructure the Patreon, because Patreon shouldn't be paying for one of my employees on an ongoing basis. Cameron's salary should be coming out of operation expenses, and it is now. So we're trying to repurpose the Patreon money for the next project, and that's perhaps something that we should do.
I feel like if you could offer like 60, 70%, 70% maybe of what a manager would make elsewise, but then offer the attractive like possibility of, you know, you get to run this place, you have the creative vision. It might be an attractive offer.
Yes, but the thing is, how do you choose such a person? Because if I make the job offer, okay, you're going to come in and you're going to run this place, then I'm assuming that I've chosen right and that person's capable of that.
Right.
And headhunting is really tough. You know, when I worked for the music store, we'd hire people, 10 candidates, we interview, pick the one person, and 3 months later they're gone because they didn't work out. Google has found this. They've got all these Google ways to do these tests, and it doesn't match at all with the performance of the people once they're inside the company.
So, like, it's really got to be like an in-house hire of somebody.
No, or just hire someone first for you do this specific function, then as she's working, I can see, holy crap, this woman can really do this, and then start to talk to her. By the way, I've got something else in mind, rather than saying, here, we want you as the future operator of Mokohanka, because you can't start there. It's a difficult thing. You know, if you're a Toyota, you've got hiring and firing all the time, and you can headhunt from within those people.
Right.
We can't do that.
Right, because we're small. Small Stand says you'll slow the growth of Mokohankan. So Small Stand, do you say like if we use that revenue for paying somebody to bring them in, a new position as like, you know, like what is it, deputy creative director, somebody who follows Dave around and starts learning how to be the creative director. If we open up that thing, then that takes the budget from new facilities, new, paper investment, wood investment, etc.
Well, how productive do they get? We're assuming this person is going to be productive, add value to the company, and increase revenue. Of course, So
Yeah.
it's a tough one. It's really, really a tough one. Anyway, we're okay at the moment. We are growing spectacularly. We are growing absolutely spectacularly. That's just Mokohunk. That's just the Asakusa shop. We're doing the right thing. I'm trying to delegate as much as possible. The reason you saw it, it looked bad because, oh my God, all the money's disappearing. It's disappearing because I am pouring it back in and spending it as much as I can. So we're actually more profitable. If I wasn't doing the pour the money thing back in, we probably last year, we would have been close to 20% on a profit margin. For a small company like this in a traditional field, high labor intensive, that's spectacularly good. So I think actually we have a good core business model here.
Okay.
And it looked worse than you. It's not that I'm cooking the books or faking the books. It's that I'm trying to make sure the money gets poured back in to encourage growth and to avoid losing it all in personal income taxes. No problem. No problem. So here, just firing and hiring new employees till we find the right one.
That makes a toxic environment, though, doesn't it? I feel like that. These small places live or die by being a family almost. I mean, you don't want to get too far down that road because in the end, people still have to make their decisions based on their life and stuff. But
moral of story: get back to work. Stop talking at work. We're working, guys. We are really productive. We're productive.
yeah,
This morning I haven't been productive at all, but whatever.
Sorry.
It's 9:30. It's time for me to get downstairs. I've done a whole lot of work here, but it's okay.
But we had a good discussion.
It's okay. It's okay.
Maybe like an art director from the illustration field would be a good target. Like, how like in the illustration world, there's people who they find illustrators, they guide illustrators, they direct illustrators, and so they know how to take an illustrator and kind of either will pick the right one and then kind of direct them to make the product that they want. Maybe somebody with that kind of a background would be a good startup.
I've been thinking more in terms of a general knowledge person rather than a specific person.
Right.
And there's a specific reason behind this. If that person had knowledge, for example, of woodblock prints or 20th century art, whatever, they come to this with a certain mindset, and that would mean much more conflict with me. But if it's a person with just general business administration knowledge and how to handle people, and how to invest and where we should be buying insurance, and all the general things which I know nothing about. So then gradually it doesn't conflict with me. I do the decisions about what color green we should be and which image of Jed's we should carve, and that person is working in a more
I think you're right.
business management.
You're right.
That's
You're totally
the
right.
thing I've been thinking about. Minimize the conflict, maximize the delegation aspect of this. I think. So.
Yeah. So did you guys know like RTX? Not RTX. That's Rooster Teeth. Sorry. Do you guys know Penny Arcade? So that's exactly what happened with Penny Arcade. From what I understand, was there's the two guys were making this like web comic I think it was on a daily basis, maybe even back 10 years ago, 15 years ago online. And then this dude approached them and said, "Hey, you guys have a big followership here. I can help turn this into a brand." And they went from being just an online comic about video games, which is topically on point, to creating the 4 biggest video game conventions in America. So there used to just be basically E3, which was like a top-down corporate expo where they would reveal their new products. But then Penny Arcade, they became PAX, which is Penny Arcade Expo. They created it out in Seattle, I think, first, and then they expanded to Boston, Dallas, and somewhere else. And now they have huge things. They started as a webcomic, and then a business guy approached them and said, "I know how to make money out of this. Like, I know how to really turn this into something." And I found that fascinating. We need that guy.
But is the original core still there, or
the branding is still there.
I mean, the product that was popular at the beginning, is it still there as a product, or has that been lost in all this?
I don't know. I don't actually know. I don't really know.
And the rest of the story.
Yeah, the rest of the story. But I mean,
but
that's somebody.
I get the idea.
and that's
I get the idea.
yeah, that's their solution to it was make conventions. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I don't know that I'm dumb about.
I mean, the whole reason we're here doing what we do actually, because a particular skill set that has randomly been tossed into my DNA involve ability to actually physically make things, and then the ability to actually tie all these things together and run a business. Both skills have been there to some degree, That's why we're available to be here. I mean, there are many other woodblock print artists here in Japan. David Stone's my friend from Britain. He's been here longer than me. His name is David. He's got a beard. He's from England. He makes woodblock prints here in Japan. He's living in the country with his wife in a tiny little environment, happily doing that. I've done this. So I have a skill set on top of this that
Right.
he didn't have or didn't choose
Right.
to have.
You have, honestly, I mean, like, I don't know if I would love living in a Soxo like you do. And you've made a choice. And you've decided to be in the middle of it. And that has, from the chart that we just saw of your year-over-year revenue, that's paid off.
And that's interesting too, that chart. This was a guy 5 years ago making a business decision one spring. I think we have room downtown to go and do something. Let's see if I can go down and find a space to rent and stuff. So this was zero. So this entire business you see here was really created from scratch by me.
That's so gutsy.
And then, identifying talent, hiring it, spending the money when there was no chance of the revenue coming back at the beginning. We spent tens of thousands of dollars on this building that first year. Tens of thousands of dollars of our own money. And with no guarantee that.
Where did that revenue come from? I forgot.
That was Ukiyo Harris 2012, the Kickstarter. He's forgotten. Oh my God, the biggest Kickstarter campaign up to history. And that
because it was 2013 that you kept open this.
Yes.
So it was the next year.
2012 was the Kickstarter campaign with this guy. Through 2013, the revenue poured in. The campaign money had gone to Jed, but he fed me the money bit by bit as we made the prints. So throughout 2013, our revenue was up and up and up and up and up and up. And come 2014, I'm sitting here with this money. What am I going to do with this? If I don't do something with it, it's just going to float away and dissolve and be lost in taxes. So I've got a little bit to invest. What shall we do? In 2014, I came downtown, scouted some locations, put the money in the ground and did this. And now, bingo, here's where we see. So yeah, I'll take credit for having some,
Awesome. Amazing. The fact that we're here right now and that you're not out in, seriously, the farthest suburb of Tokyo. Beautiful as it is.
It was a life decision, and so far so good. So I don't think of myself as a good businessman, but here
You've made some good choices.
Here we are.
You've made some good decisions.
So. I guess actually now I really do. I've got to get downstairs because what's happening today is, let me run a video. We have print party at 10 o'clock, and today it's Koizumi-san and Kawai-san and me. The three of us are going to run the shop today. And it's going to be pretty busy down there.
Guys, thank you so much for the wonderful comments. Sorry that we weren't able to respond to them as well these last 20 minutes, but Dave's definitely going to go down and read them. Yeah. Yep. Thank you guys for watching and listening to our discussion.
We're all having a ton of fun with this, I can't speak for you at your end, but at this end we are having an absolute ton of fun.
I'm having a great time.
I did. I reinvented my life at age 60, and it's just getting better and better and better every day, every day. So we're having so much fun. You're going to be back home. You're flying out tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow. So I might be here for the stream tomorrow, too.
Well, I was going to ask you one thing. Are you doing the December con here this year? Are you sending Bryce over?
Yeah, so I will personally be
There's
here.
a big major show in December here in Tokyo, Tokyo Comic Con.
I'll be at Tokyo Comic Con. If anybody here is living, in Japan and you want to go to Tokyo Comic Con, it's a fun show.
So you're coming over yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an American-style Comic-Con, but with some Japanese flavor. I think, actually, Apple's Steve Wozniak is one of the founders of it. And it's a very intimate, fun show. It's one of my favorites. It's one of the most culturally unique. If you want to see an interesting Comic-Con, I like Tokyo Comic-Con.
And it's been up 2 years now? This is the third year?
They have an excellent toy presence. If you guys are into, designer toys, they have an awesome toy representation here. That was honestly one of the biggest attractions for me. Also, just one of the original artists who sculpted Godzilla was there last year. There's really interesting things.
They brought Stan Lee, didn't they? Also, was that something else?
They brought in the guy who plays Bones in Star Trek. I forget his name. He was the guy from Lord of the Rings, the Rohan guy. and then they brought in the whistle dude with the mohawk from. Oh my gosh, this is like so embarrassing that I don't know everything.
About?
The whistle dude with the mohawk with the floating magic arrow from Guardians of the Galaxy. I forget his name too. Anyway, they had those two guys in, and what was interesting is that like at those shows, you know, usually you go to like a panel, and they're like at the end of like this mile-long ballroom, and you can barely see them as a blip up on the stage, and they're talking and stuff. But at the Tokyo Comic Con, honestly, you guys, like the chairs are maybe like 10 rows deep. And then there's the star.
Because it was a new show.
It was a new show, but I mean, it's not going to get much bigger. I mean, I don't see it being growing like hand over foot, as it were. Anyway.
So you're coming back, okay? Did you have time to drop in? Or you can
Oh
fly
yeah.
into the
Somebody
show.
says I
and
do
sit
think
back?
Stanley was there.
So you're just flying in and out, bang bang for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll come see you.
Are you going to send a package of like the stock you're going to sell? You're going to send it through in advance to us, or whatever. Let Cameron know, or let us know, just so we know what to expect.
Yeah.
We can hold it, and we can ship it directly to the show.
Yeah, we
you
might
know.
have to ship that.
It's up to you.
I need to get on that pretty soon.
Okay. I kind of think so. If it's end of October.
End of November.
No, I mean now it's in October. Now,
Oh, yeah.
so. Okay. Gotta get out of here, guys. Thanks, Jed. Nice to see you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry we talked about business and not art.
Or getting some work done.
In woodblock printmaking, they touch a lot.
The gift print. Baron cookies. Okay, guys, thanks very much. It mixed again. Today's Sunday, Monday, tomorrow. Let me just have a look at the reservation schedule here. It's a normal reservation schedule. I should be here tomorrow, I guess, picking up on this thing. Jed won't be here, I don't think so. So I'll be doing my normal work. Same time, same station. See you then. Thanks again. Bye-bye. Signing off. It's now in the hot mic situation.
Hot mic, hot
They're all waiting to see what kind of screw up we'll do here.
Politics, racism.